beautifully away by Ashton. This is Flood, this is much better. England driving for the line with Ashton. It's been ages since he scored a try in white. Get it away now, and there are options. Stevens runs into Basalaya, but such is the strength of the Saracens prop. Ball still there for England. Armitage, Happy goes for a second and gets it. It's as good as England have played in this tournament so far. And Happy has a brace.
Great continuity from England. All the names we've mentioned, hand on the ball, Manu Tuolangi, Chris Ashton, seeing him prowling around, Toby Flood showing variation, taking the ball to the line himself. It's great to see, keeps defences thinking, man on the inside. Chris Ashton, so close, good recycling. And here's Easy, quick hands, nearly lost the opportunity. Shantae Happy, great try, richly deserved, and England on the front foot.
First choice last autumn, and Toby Flood, having been first choice in the Six Nations, gets the conversion. But it was all about Happy's try in England, keeping the ball alive. And all those who suggest that Happy doesn't do enough in attack are getting a little bit to chew on here.
Well, the best way to answer critics, believe me, is to go out and to score tries. Now there's confidence and power of good.
Kubriashvili, by the way, with the icy headwear. Looks like the giant tight head might not be long for this match. And that will only be good news for England as they launch again from deep. And they get the penalty. And they take it quickly with Youngs. And then there was obstruction in midfield, and Georgia have the penalty as poor old Kubriashvili makes his way off. First Georgian player to play for the Barbarians against England in May. Part of the winning team that day. And their front row, as good as it is,
that's fine, play.
Will be the poorer for his absence. It's not entirely clear whether he is going off. He's wandering towards the touchline, and there's confirmation. David Zirakashvili, the Clermont prop, on to win his 30th cap. They don't lose much in the weight stakes.
No, it'll just be more when it comes to the technical side, line out, lifting pods, defensives. You know, those are the kind of things during a game when substitutions come on. Yes, you watch during the week in training, but it's never the same as when you're in a high-pressure environment. Here, crowd, noise. Is he 100% sure of his role within the team? Well, I'm sure we'll find out. It won't be for lack of strength, that's for sure, because he's another monster.
We continue to be told that the balls are fine. Ronan O'Gara was striking them perfectly at Eden Park last night, but poor old Mirab Kvirikashvili is not having his best night at the moment. Abzaradze, half spilt, but eventually held on to by Mazaradze. One of the three Mazaradze brothers who played for Georgia this year, but the only one who's here in New Zealand. Hartley getting himself involved, but it's still red ball. Zed Ganidze is the number 4 who was involved in things just then. Actually retired after skippering the side in 2003 and 2007, but here he is back again. Here's Gorgodze again. We'll see plenty of him as the match wears on. Kvirikashvili. This is Kacharava. Part of the World Cup effort that very nearly pushed Ireland over the edge in Bordeaux 4 years ago. Machinelli puts his shoulder into it very nearly. Scored a try against England very early on. Ruled out because of a foot in touch. But they've been impressive in this facet of the game. They've hung on to the ball well. They've asked England questions.
Certainly have. England have certainly stepped up in defence, getting off the line much faster than last weekend against Argentina. And Georgia responding well, playing multi-phase rugby. Manu Tuolangi there, showing his physicality.
Oh, he's been penalised in the tackle. It's going to be very interesting to see that again, because initially it just looked like a very strong tackle, but the onus is on the tackler if you take somebody off their feet to bring them back to the ground floor carefully. It was touch and go, though.
I think the hit was great. And he's turning him up. I mean, we could talk about that all night long, and you would see it 100 times more in this tournament and nothing would happen. But England certainly defensively have looked much stronger this evening.
Jonathan Kaplan, I think he's been in charge of more test matches than anybody else in the world now, well into his 60s, so he knows what he's doing.
Jonathan Kaplan was always someone, when I was playing, could talk to as a person, not just, he wasn't just a referee. I think he referees the game extremely well, likes a good flow, a good empathy with the players. Not afraid to make big decisions, but he's someone who I always enjoyed, playing with.
One or two whispered prayers going on back home, I imagine, at the moment. Kvirikashvili has missed his first 3 penalties. That's one or two silent ones in his own head as well. Georgia deserve to be on the board for all that they have put into this match in the opening phases. Finally they have some reward. England 14, Georgia 3.
Absolutely, I think Georgia have come out with a really positive attitude, which is great to see. And England certainly know they've been in a tough test match so far.
And that was a shame for Simon Shaw, because he'd done well to get there, done the hard work. Looking more and more like George Clooney as the years go by. What do you reckon, Phil?
I'm sure you'll appreciate that, Nick. But this is where England now, important pack settle.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Hang it.
That was a decent English scrum, and Georgia had to work hard to win the ball back. Abazaradze just happy to clear Ashton, foot deliberately in touch. But the line-out will go to Georgia, and Ashton is not at all happy with that decision. Tried to be clever, tried to plant his right boots out of touch, but in the view of the touch judge on this near side, Chris Pollock, he didn't get his timing quite right.
Inside.
Again, England challenging in the air. That time it was Haskell. Determined not to give Georgia easy free ball. Skipper Abazaradze has to do a little bit of climbing to win it back for them. Bregvadze goes to ground. Abazaradze again to Kvirikashvili. Tackled by Moody. Giant size replacement, David Zirakashvili. This is Kinchagishvili, player who John Hayes has good reason to remember from 2007. Georgia are smuggling the ball around nicely. Mazaradze needs to be careful because he's not far away from the touchline. So Georgia will bring it back in midfield, and then Zirakashvili loses it. And England can break from a position of some promise. Foden finds Ashton, chases his own kick, bounce is important, it works for him. Rolled around the tackle of Gagauri, the ball went backwards, so England can launch again with Flood. Stevens harking back into Georgia's defence. Tuolangi. Whistle from Kaplan, and for the second time in the match, England have been pulled up for crossing in midfield, obstructing the ball carrier with somebody who doesn't have it.
Yeah, England use the blocking runner a lot. No need to there, really. They've got good ball, they've got good go forward. It's interesting talking about the Georgians neither keeping the ball. The reason they're keeping the ball so well is because they're playing very narrow. All 15 players at times are only in half of the pitch, which is great when they've got the ball, but here, when England, if they can manage to turn it over, there are going to be opportunities for Chris Ashton, Ben Foden, Manu Tuolangi. They just don't need to squander it here. I don't see the need for the dummy runner. It's a shame, it's a waste, an opportunity for England to really apply pressure in the right areas of the field. Wasted.
Dylan Armitage was the man just drifting in front of Tuolangi, and in the mind of Kaplan, stopping the defenders getting to the Leicester centre. Georgi Chmiedza is on as well, so plenty of Georgian changes early on and plenty of problems with their line-out. It's just not worked for them so far this evening, and poor old Jabba Bregvadze knows just that.
Line-out's been a problem for them so far this evening. Great pressure from England, though, I have to say. Tom Palmer and crew really putting pressure on the ground, moving well. The Georgians looking there for more, a lot of movement, trying to deceive the England lifting pod.
Touch.
Tom Palmer stood his ground.
Pause. Hager.
Ben Young starting at scrum half this evening. England's late black night in the change trip a week ago against Argentina, starting in white this evening. Cole and his magnificent whiskers. I think he and Adam Kleeberger are jostling for the World Cup's finest beard at the moment. Did well to get it through customs. They're quite hot on those kinds of things. And England have the free kick. Flood to Armitage, holds on to the ball. Didn't really have the support, so he did the right thing. Here goes Youngs. Moody's there. This is Foden. Worth pointing out, by the way, that the numbers on England's back are holding up much better than they were a week ago as well.
Scrum white ball.
Bodies littering the floor, and the upshot is an England scrum. Into the final 10 minutes of what has been a fast and frantic first half, and do start to question just how much petrol the Georgians are going to have in the tank. We've been talking all evening about the fact that they had that game last Wednesday. A game of this pace will eventually catch up with them.
They've certainly played their role in tonight's game. It's been fast and frantic. Both teams having opportunities. England have taken theirs. Georgia will be disappointed. 20% to 80% territory. Wouldn't have believed that if we'd have talked about that at the beginning of the game. But it's important now for England, just going into half-time, very important part of the game, to get the ascendancy. Really don't give the Georgians anything to go in at half-time and talk about and be positive and give them belief. Really shut the door. Can England turn the screw on this Georgian team?
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Hager. Behind.
Good scrum by England.
Haskell tried to flick it back, but he was being illegally impeded. Georgi Chmiedza was amongst those. Flanker, winning his 50th cap this evening, having just come off the bench. Those who played against England in Perth when Phil and co were doing their stuff. Played number 8 that evening. But this feels like a very different night. Don't think this is going to end 84-6. Johnny will kick as many kicks as he did that evening at the Subiaco Oval.